When should we expect a Russian invasion of EU countries?
They will definitely try in Bulgaria, which is approaching elections to the parliament. They are trying to do something in Czech Republic. West understands that if something like it's happening in Ukraine now happens to Poland or Germany or France, it will be a real disaster.
Is Europe's infrastructure prepared for a potential Russian invasion?
It's totally unprepared. And
Totally?
they also totally unprepared, not prepared. And they understand this challenge.
JD Vance stated that he considers the halt of aid to Ukraine a victory. Who was this message intended for?
But in case of Vance, he's still trying to find his niche.
Hello and welcome to Russia Unmasked. This is where we break down Russia's strategy toward Europe and highlight the political stories that really mattered over the past week. We thank you for your views and likes on our channel, and we look forward to your comments. So let's start. I'm Andrii Bohdanovich, and joining me today is Volodymyr Omelyan, a diplomat and former Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine. Hi, Volodymyr.
Thank you,
Hello.
Andrii, for having me. It's a great honor to be with you. Hi.
Thank you. And question to you as a diplomat. The State Duma of the Russian Federation has passed in its first reading, maybe it's important, a bill that expands the grounds for military intervention. This document would allow Kremlin dictator Vladimir Putin to deploy troops to other countries in order to protect Russians who are allegedly being persecuted by foreign cards. A similar law was adopted by Russia prior to its invasion of Ukraine in 2014. When should we expect a Russian invasion of EU countries? Who would be first?
I wouldn't pay too much attention to any laws adopted by Kremlin or Duma because normally Russia is never driven by laws. It's only will or wish of Tsar or Kremlin to do something and then to cover with some pathetic or kind of legal instruments if they are really needed. In my humble opinion, Russia right now is in big crisis, and we see since recently a lot of public statements of many popular figures criticizing Kremlin for failed attempts to occupy Ukraine. And with misdoings of Russian government to run the country, especially with the idea to convert Russia in another Iran or China or Northern Korea with the limited access to internet and many other things. Plus, we see the real decline in Russian economy, and it really strikes each citizen. Therefore, Putin and Kremlin need victory. There is no possible great victory in Ukraine. It's understandable. Whatever they say and whatever they try to explain to Russians, there is no dramatic breakthroughs. Secondly, many Russians are posed with the question: we spent in this war more time than in World War II. But in 4 years, we were in Berlin, and in 4 years in Ukraine, we are still around the same front line in average. So I think for this year, it's crucial for Putin to have some great victory, to show to his citizens that he is not afraid, that he can still deliver success and bring some fortune to Russia. And this is also the mental issue of Russian Federation, because Kremlin occupies not only some part of Ukraine, Georgia, and some other countries in the world, but it occupies each and every single person of Russian Federation, including those people who call themselves Russians. And I'm not even talking about Chechens, I'm not talking about Tatars and many other nations living in this country. So when Tsar is weak, he is misbehaved by Russians. They do not cherish and honor him anymore and not afraid of him anymore. It means that he can end his life very shortly. Putin understands this danger. That's why he is very much focused on some kind of real delivery. In his opinion, it might be the case. It will be also illogical as it was with invading Ukraine, but it happened. That's why I'm more than sure that it can happen once again. Then he strikes Estonia or any other Baltic states, or even trying to invade Poland, not maybe to Warsaw across Wisla, but at least in borderland, and then to see what's happening. If reaction of NATO is strong and NATO missiles and aircraft smashing everything in Russia, he will step back. If reaction is weak and we will see massive evacuation and no real defense in those countries, he will progress from some small cities and villages deep into Baltic states. So it very much likely to happen. And alarming about this situation is really important because many Europeans still live with the illusion that, okay, if there is real attack or threat of attack, it will come only in 2030 or even later. The reality is that Putin is not ready to wait so long. He can strike this year.
Mhm. And the second question, the statement by the Slovenian parliamentary speaker about rapprochement with Russia, is this Russia's plan B after its setback in Hungary? What do you see behind this statement?
The great difference between Soviet times and Russian uh, imperial times and nowadays Russia is that the only one tool left in arsenal of Kremlin, it's to spread chaos. And having this chaos established in neighboring countries, in world democracies, in G7, they're trying to maneuver and get maximum out of this information. Before, during Soviet and Tsar times, those chaos tools were strongly enforced by strong ideology and great financial injection. Those financial stimulations are still present, and we see that many politicians in the West try to be very tolerant about Russia, and the basis of this tolerance could be a very different one, even personal interest paid by dollars or euros sent from Russia. But still, it's not possible anymore to be a great Russian supporter. And the destiny of Orban is a great example of it. Without, regardless all great assistance sent by Kremlin, it didn't work well for him. He lost. And whatever people say, trying to put it that way, that okay, it's not just so great loss of Russia. It's just a kind of some problem, and Orban Magyar will not be much better. But in reality, the failure is great. Russians really lost Hungary, and there is no chance to take it back in coming years. So definitely they try in other countries. In the country you named, or they will definitely try in Bulgaria, which is approaching elections to the parliament. They are trying to do something in Czech Republic, in Slovak Republic. But I wouldn't take it too serious because we also exaggerate when we say that this politician works for Russia only. Uh, Politicians in the West are driven by their own personal, sometimes egoistic interests. The mission for them is to survive. If some of them accept some Russian financial aid or any other assistance tools, it's their responsibility, but it doesn't mean that they become Russian agents. Even if some people love to talk about great influence of Russia or Kremlin over Washington and White House, those are fake news. And this is also the big problem for Russia, because in their history, they got to live in the world surrounded by their satellites, playing independent game, but totally focused on Moscow wishes and will. It's not that anymore. And we shall be very conscious about happening in Europe all over the world, because as we already experience, it has a great influence on our country, even if some actions are taken or happening far away from Ukraine. But we don't have to be panicking about that. Uh, what happened in Hungary, how elections were organized in Romania and in Moldova. Those are very open and strong signals. Democracies finally realized that they have to protect democratic will, and they know how to do it.
And what do you think? Who won in Hungary's election? Europe, the United States, Russia, or Ukraine?
Definitely, it's a great success of European Union, because Hungary was a Trojan horse of Russian Federation, the biggest and the largest country which openly opposite many EU decisions in favor of Russia and acted in favor of Russia. But I wouldn't say that it's a kind of disaster or unpleasant thing for United States, regardless that Vance and Trump were in favor of Orban. Next day, Trump congratulated Magyar with success, and I'm 100% sure that they will cooperate fruitfully. In case of Ukraine, it shall become less complicated. But in order to be sure about the future, we have to know the past perfectly well. Hungary was never easy neighbor for Ukraine, and we shall take into account this fact. Thanks to European Union, that Hungary is a member of European Union, we don't have a great problems with this country. I mean, first of all, physical invasion, as it happened many times before. But still, we have to, and we can finally negotiate with new prime minister. And I think that if both sides will do their best and pull all efforts possible, we will have very good, sustainable relations between Hungary and Ukraine.
And turn to possible Russians invasion. Is Europe's infrastructure prepared for a potential Russian invasion? What needs to be done? Is it capable of handling rapid troops deployments, for example, from Germany to Estonia?
It's totally unprepared. And they
Totally.
also totally unprepared, not prepared. And they understand this challenge, because it's not only about army to be mobile. It's about infrastructure to be protected and secured. It's about systems of running everything: water supplies, electricity, energy, logistics, to be in double, triple mode, to be secured. And you know that if one line is broken, you automatically switch to another one. And for that, you need to have source of energy. You need to have reserved lines and many other things. Luck with Ukraine that Ukrainian economy was constructed under Soviet occupation, and the main idea of Soviets were to fight and to spend their lives in wars. That's why our infrastructure managed to survive those furious Russian bombing, because many systems were duplicated, as in aviation, that you cannot fly only with one system. Everything is in reserve, ready to act any second. Now, concerning the West, they were run by commercial profit. If you don't need extra power, or if you don't need reserve power, you don't make it, because it's a waste of money and it's extra cost for you. Business doesn't function that way. So saying that West understands that if something like it's happening in Ukraine now happens to Poland or Germany or France, it will be a real disaster. So the only thing for them to prevent from such catastrophe is to focus not on defensive but offensive operations. They are still ready. They are still not ready to act in advance to start war before Russians start it against them. But I believe that at some point they will come to that understanding. That unfortunately, if it's real contact war, if it's real invasion, consequences will be absolutely terrible.
And Dmitry Medvedev last week has spread uh, claims that Russia is ready to strike locations, including within Russia, where facilities producing weapons for Ukraine are allegedly situated. Is it true?
Is it true that Medvedev
Can
says
they
that?
strike?
He said that, but they cannot. They also understand the reality. That's why they want to test NATO to see how it goes. Because having a combat fleet of more than 2,000 combat jets in the air on NATO side, it will simply destroy the whole Red Army, front line on Russian side, and all logistics and majority of Russian defense manufacture. So it will be enough 2 weeks of such combat jet operation along the front line to simply smash Russian forces. And Russians do understand this big threat. The only kind of hope that if Russians to invade Baltic states and Poland, or Baltic states or Poland, NATO reaction will be a very weak one. Nothing will be sent to protect those countries from Germany, from the UK, from the United States. That Trump would say that, okay, you didn't help me with Iran. It's Europe, it's your continent, handle it on your own. So this is the only kind of bluffing Russia hopes for, that it will work this way. But if immediate response will be strong and all capacities, excluding nukes, will be in place, there is no chance for Red Army to survive. It will be simply destroyed within 2 weeks' time.
Okay. And as for USA, this week JD Vance stated that he considers the halt of aid to Ukraine a victory. Who was this message intended for? His MAGA allies, the broader Republican electorate ahead of elections. What is the Vance trying to achieve?
Mm, I simply think that Vance is not deeply in Ukrainian affairs. By chance, or somebody asks him, somebody, maybe Trump, to comment something or to say something or to react, then he reacts without real understanding the matter. That's why his comments or contacts or negotiations are not really that successful. I remember times of Biden as vice president, and he was kind of echo or clone of another great vice president in the United States story. But in case of Vance, he's still trying to find his niche. What is he for? And I don't think that foreign affairs, external affairs, is real his beloved toy. I still think that he commands those issues only if he is asked, and he says what he is told to say. It's not his personal opinion on the matter. And this is his problem, because he is considered one of the main candidates to run for presidency on behalf of Republicans. And for him, it's very important to be number one in all senses of this word. So it's a very short time still to learn, and he needs to perform.
Thank you, Volodymyr, for your answers and insights. Dear
Thank you, Andrii.
viewers, yeah. Dear viewers, we're waiting for your comments and reactions. Your opinion is important to us. And this was Russia Unmasked. And I'm Andrii Bohdanovich and Volodymyr Omelyan. See you in a week.
Bye. Cheers.